Simran, entrepreneur, and a community leader. But I hope you're ready for this. Like, community leader for a 35,000 member community called a Wonderful Mom Bakers Community. It's a globally recognized, award winning, healthy baking community, and they create a wide social impact. Simran was recognized by Sheryl Sandberg as one of 8 most influential Facebook community leaders in Asia. Simran is a TEDx speaker. She's a Shiro's champion. She does workshops with schools, corporates, and has been covered in almost all the national dailies. However, if you ask Simran to introduce herself, she just, she just says that she's a mom to 2 little humans and to 2 senior adopted canines. We might see them stepping into the screen once in a while. That's right. We're happy to
Yeah.
have them along too. It's great to have you here, Simran.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Tina. It's entirely my pleasure to be here with Chitra and you. And I'm humbled and actually amazed that you think there is something that I have to share, which which can be beneficial to so many others who run small ventures and mid-sized businesses, run social enterprises, communities, whatever. I'm very happy to share. So glad to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to what you have to share with us, Simran. So, moving on to our next panelist, we have with us Chitra Manohar. Chitra is the founder of Chitra's Jewel Arts. Chitra was born and brought up in Kerala, so we share a common ground there. But she's traveled across the length and breadth of India. She's lived in Kolkata, Pune, Chennai, the interior parts of southern Tamil Nadu. And like a lot of us, Chitra discovered her passion over time. She's from a jeweler's family, and over time, the artist in her started waking up and she started designing. Her work was being appreciated, and requests for exclusive jewelry started pouring in. Now, the hidden passion could no longer be contained. And over the last decade and a half, her work has spread across various countries. Chitra does everything from sourcing to designing, production, quality check, packing, dispatch. And what's worth noting is that she launched her business online right from the get-go. And we're talking about something that was started maybe 15 years ago. Her designs are exclusive and handcrafted for every customer. That's why her customers keep coming back for more. So welcome, Chitra. So glad that you've agreed to join us tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'm humbled, and I'm sure whatever I speak today will be of use for youngsters.
Yeah.
I will share my experiences, whatever I did, and what they can take us forward.
Okay, that's great, Chitra. Okay, so we'll get started. So today's session, tonight's program has 5 segments. Okay, and we'll get started with the first one, which is called the what, when, why factor. Now, this segment goes into the rationale behind starting a business. Now, the idea for any business can start with a plan, a drawing, a working sheet, scribbles, notes, thoughts that you might get in the shower. But eventually that plan gets better as variables are eliminated and a clearer picture evolves. Let's see how our entrepreneurs started out. Let's start with Simran. When and how did you conceptualize
So I think it's if you ask me for a precise date, it's a little difficult to get to that. But I think, like you rightly said, things have evolved over a period of time. I think the idea of baking in itself primarily emerged when I was asked by this NGO in Delhi, in Gurgaon, to teach baking to girls who are from the rural background. And the NGO is called Searchers, and I just volunteered over the weekend. I just thought of it as a hobby, that I was pursuing. Just continued to, gain as much experience as I could, and interaction with 12 young girls who were, for them, it was a very serious thing because they were not doing it for a hobby. That's when it struck me that they're not doing it for a hobby, they're doing it for livelihood, because it was a vocational skills program. They were going to, after their class 12 start doing it as a as a career option. So slowly it started making me realize that there is some seriousness in what I was trying to do, and why was I so passionate about it. So I continued to explore it, and then in 2012 my son was born, and 2013, by the time he was a little over a year, I realized I didn't want to feed him what was coming in the market. So by the time, I think, like with a lot of young enthusiastic parents, you want to cook everything, bake everything, give your children the best and the healthiest options. That was the same idea that I started working with. And since I had a little bit of connect and a little bit of experience in baking, I said, why not do something with this and do something which is healthy? So I started doing that primarily to, that's where Oh Wonderful actually started. I started doing it to bake for my son and to give him something that was nutritious for him. And the reason that it grew was primarily my drive to share that knowledge with a wider audience, because I figured out that what I was trying to do was something that I had not seen anybody else doing. One, secondly, there was no ready source of information which was available to me, and I wanted to make it available to more people. So I wanted to make sure that, what I could go to Google, hit a search, look for options, get nothing. From a healthy baking, localized Indian ingredients used in baking kind of perspective. And then I realized that, I'm trying so many recipes, I can blog about it, but what if I want to talk about it with a wider audience? Let me think if I can create a community or, start a group. And that is how it started. And Facebook was the only platform that was available, which was giving you that kind of versatility to try out something like a group or community. Set it up with added a few couple of friends for the first 6-8 months, or I was the only person posting. And then it grew. Like it just, I think that persistence, and I mean, of course, we'll talk about that more later, but I think it just exploded is the only way to describe it. And now, of course, like you mentioned, there are 35,000 members across the world doing great work, baking healthy for families, for social impact work. Yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah. I mean, we can't deny the reach that online will give you. So, yeah.
True. Very true.
So, coming to you, Chitra, you at one point in time you mentioned that you started your journey as a 10-year-old. Like, what do you think of Chitra's jewel arts when you look back now? Because it's a long time.
Yeah. Uh, I come from a family of dwellers, and I have been exposed to these designs, all intricate patterns around me, and I don't know. It was in my blood. I feel what I have taken up now, and when I was working for a few colleges as a soft skill trainer. And when it came to a point that I could not travel much, I felt I should sit at home and do something from the comforts of my home. At that point of, it just struck me that why not try with a few beads, which was already in stock. And like Simran said, I too posted a few pictures on Facebook because I wanted to sit at home and do my business. And it just took off. My friends, my customers, my family, everyone supported me so much. And there is no looking back. I feel it has been a very satisfying and a very interesting journey, though it was full of challenges. I was taking my business online about 11 to 12 years ago. Only few people were around, nobody to guide me. So there were a lot of challenges. I was treading an unknown path and not sure whether I was doing right or wrong. It was all trial and error. I learned it step by step, and yes, it is a passion for me. I love what I do. That is the whole difference of what I work with. So that it is like a worship. I would tell you, it is so therapeutic. I can keep on telling about my work, and moreover, I could connect with lot of people, friends or customers from across the globe. So that has been a wonderful thing, and it has given lot of experience, challenges too. So that is
Yeah.
a it's a
So,
brief account of what I have done.
yeah.
Beautifully explained, actually. Beautifully explained,
Yeah.
the journey.
So,
Thank
I
you.
mean, like when we heard Chitra itself that, you started something on Facebook when you said like 12 years ago, I mean, we were like, okay, we need to talk to you because we
Yeah.
see how important it is for small business
Yeah.
owners to go digital, but how difficult it is to also convince them to do it. But yeah, it was amazing to hear that from you. Simran, the impact and the community that you've created is huge. Like we heard, like 35,000 people, huge. What were the building blocks that you had to put together to set this up?
So I think the building blocks are, one is that, what I realized is that, any community or any brand for that matter is an extension of the founder. That I think most people know. Okay, but I think what happens is that somewhere down the line people lose that. I feel that sometimes, when you're chasing numbers. So for example, if I see a lot of communities getting dissolved completely of their entire purpose, primarily because we're chasing numbers. We're saying we want to become 100,000. We want to become a. So there's a difference. Like, so for me, there's a difference between being ambitious and, being small and growing organically. Okay, so that is where, that's the thing that I fundamentally kept in mind. So if a lot of people ask me today, did you intend to grow the community like this? And my clear answer is no. I did, because it's not something, because that was never my intent. Okay, and that is something that I have held very, closely even now. So while we are 35,000 members, when it's 40, 50, 100, whatever, if it doesn't reach that number, also it's all right for me. So I think that is my comfort zone, and that is where I have always been with the community. That it's an extension of me. I'm ambitious as a person, but I'm not going to chase a goal, because for me the goal is shifting constantly. Today the goal is X, tomorrow the goal is Y. So there is
Yeah,
no, I don't want to fixate myself on a particular goal. And that's the reason why, while the intent of the community has always been healthy baking, one, second, healthy baking for social impact, two, those two intentions and the primary focus and essence of the community has remained the same. But it has not been, but the growth of the community and my emphasis on that growth has not been driven by things like numbers. Okay, that's one thing that has inherently been very strong in making that community. The second is, like I said, extension of the person. So I am not hesitant to share, whether it's a personal experience that is related to my baking, whether it is a failure, whether it is a success, whether it is, something that I have, associated my baking with. Sometimes it's extremely raw and emotional. Sometimes it's extremely factual. But the point is that I'm, at that point in time, it's me. So which is something that I have extended to the community, and what has helped is that it's helped others to share as equally, as freely, without the fear of being judged. Because the biggest challenge of a virtual space is that, you can't sense the tone of the person. So you can't sense what the person is trying to say with 5 words. So which is why those 5 words become very important.
yeah,
And what becomes important is that the person who leads that community is allowing you a space, or is herself or himself creating a space where, where they open themselves out to that extent, that they show you that they are not free, they're not scared of being who they are. Okay, so I think that is the second thing that has driven the culture of the community. And the third thing is, which I've emphasized multiple times, and this is the thing that had hit me first, because when I started the community, I was also running Oh Wonderful as a, I was selling some healthy bakes at that point in time, which of course I phased out eventually, because that was not what, like I said, shifting goalposts. That was not what I wanted to continue to do forever with Oh Wonderful, the enterprise also. So when I started the community, a lot of people came to me and told me that, on very well-meaning friends and everybody also, that, you are so good at healthy baking. You're one of the pioneers in healthy baking. Nobody even knows the kind of baking that you do. You want to create 100,000 people like yourself, in the sense that you will create so much competition for yourself. Okay, and I mean, I honestly, I tell them today, and I'm very, very happy that that was something that never stopped me, because I feel that, there is space for everybody. That's the first
Yeah.
thing. The second thing is, the only way you can grow is if you can collaborate. The moment that collaboration changes to competitiveness, even if you're in the same space, if you can't collaborate with each other, whether it's knowledge, whether it is skills, whether it is time, if you can't do that, you can, personally I feel, you cannot grow. Okay, that's my that's a that's my very frank opinion, because that's something that I see very, very often, that we think that
Yeah.
we need to compete a lot to actually get somewhere. You really don't need to do it. Some people didn't know me as much when I was running Oh Wonderful as a small enterprise, as much as they know me today when I run Oh Wonderful, a mom bakers community, as a community leader. And there is a reason for that. The reason is because then somewhere down the line, my emphasis has been on collaboration and not on trying to compete and not on trying to create a competitive environment, in that respect. So I think those would probably be the building blocks.
That's great. I mean, that's really nice to hear, Simran. I mean, a lot of people don't go into this kind of detail, about like they're not as
You have to stop me. Like Chitra, I can keep talking. So you have to stop me.
no, no, that's not what I meant. I mean, like it's candid. It's good to hear this. So yes, Chitra, coming back to you, your designs are like unique, and each work is like what do you say, like a fingerprint. So how do you get your ideas? Where do you take inspiration from?
I think creativity is something, it's the ability to think. The more you think, you become more creative.
Yeah.
One is my exposure to my young age. When I was very young, I have seen goldsmiths working right in front of my eyes on intricate patterns. And uh, that has always fascinated me. And I have one more hobby of visiting ancient temples.
Mm,
And we have a rich artwork in each temple.
right.
And when I visit those temples, I spend a lot of time observing all the stone carvings, photographing them, uh, then seeing all the idols and ornamentation on sculptures, all that. So that also must have gone in my brain. Somewhere it is stored. So when I want to work with the designs I make today, the influence must be coming from my background, as that I grew up in a dwellers family, and also from what I am seeing now from the temple visits. So that I am not repeating what I see in temples. It is impossible. I am just innovating to the current requirements. And sometimes at nights, I get some kind of flashes like the poets and the writers get. I can see some designs in front of my eyes. Immediately, I get up and make a note on my phone, that because next day the design will vanish from my memory. So that helps a lot, and most of the time it comes out very well. The combinations, what I see in my dream, I'll be half sleepy at that time. It comes out very well, and that is how it is. There is no other magic. I don't know but what is in my subconscious or my hardware, that is coming out in some other form.
Yeah,
That's all.
that's nice.
That is as I put in a very simple way. That's all.
Yeah, that's nice. Simran, again to you, like again with the large community, but where do you generate revenue to support the causes that you take up in a wonderful?
So when I do something on my own, so wonderful from the social enterprise perspective, when I do something on my own, I have a job that helps me fund that. So let me just
How
put
do
it
you
that way.
manage the time? Just
I'm
confused.
sorry.
How do you manage the time?
Yes, I think we need to do a lot of people have actually asked me about how do I, if I should do a session on time management. I'm not really sure if I'm the right person because I'm always struggling. I'm always struggling. So let me just not get into that. But yeah, I mean, so if I do it only through Wonderful, if I'm doing it alone, for example, then I have, the job that funds what I love doing also. Plus, also, I do a lot of workshops through Oh Wonderful, which are aligned with, say, like you mentioned when you were introducing, with corporates. I do workshops with schools, and I also do recipe development work and all of that. So that's how that bit works for Oh Wonderful when I'm doing it on my own. Helps me to sort of generate funds that I want to use for social impact work. For Wonderful Mom Bakers community, there are two ways. One is that when we are doing something which is large scale distributions, so 4,000 kids, 5,000 people to distribute to and things like that. For the last 2 3 years, the bakers have been very kind to do it on their own. Okay, so we've all done it on our own. We have not raised funds. We have not whether it's the ingredients or whether it's the transportation, whatever it is, it's been entirely on our own. Okay, so we spend that money on our own. Whoever, there have usually been 40 50 bakers doing it together. And but in the recent past, in the last couple of years, we've been able to actively fundraise also. So because of the work that the community does, and because of the visibility that has come with that work, and the credibility that has come associated with the community, we get funds when I create a fundraising link, or when I go out asking for funds, and I'm comfortable doing that now, because now I have clarity of vision about how much we need. Okay, my biggest concern is that my brand is at stake when I go out, and my credibility is at stake when I go out and ask people for funds for a social impact work. So I want to ask only what we realistically need, and I want to be able to tell them where we realistically use that, because we are in a community. We are not an NGO where people can just we cannot generate slips or things like that. So it's entirely basis how much they can trust us. So which is why I hold that in very high regard. And when we go out like I said, when I go out for fundraising, in the last few years, I think honestly, because of the work that has happened in the first few years, we've been able to generate massive amount of funds, whether it is to support some of the places where we've done distributions, some of the places where we've fundraised to, we've done bake sale fundraisers. We've been invited to do bake sale fundraisers in corporates. We've done it in Viacom 18, we've done it in Infotech, IITC Infotech, we've done it in colleges like Mount Carmel. We've gone there, baked, sold healthy goods, raised funds, funded education for girls, through that. So basically, that's one of the lines in which we've also tried to fundraise and raise some of the funds that have come in. So, that's, I think, primarily how it's been working so far, in terms of how we generate funds.
Okay, okay. I mean, that was one pressing question that I actually had.
Yeah, that's how it will be.
Yeah. Okay. Chitra, coming back to you, like, can you
Yeah.
just explain how you started and continued your business online? Maybe a little bit about the operations, just an overview.
I, uh, when I said I wanted to start my business from the comforts of my home, it was only Facebook was the only option. Even at that point of time when I started, I never thought I'll take it seriously. I had just made a few designs and just posted it, and it was appreciated by our friends, and uh, that also encouraged me. And I worked once Facebook was, it was getting encouragement on Facebook. I also tried e-commerce portals. I went to e-commerce sites and tried. Business was good. I also learned how to receive payments, digital payments. I tried even international shops, and that was also very good. But I felt that control of money and products should be in my hand, and I decided to move out of all the e-commerce portals, and I started on my own. And presently, I am working only on Instagram and Facebook, nowhere else. And even how I do it is, I take hundreds of pictures of a product, because then only I get satisfied. It is not that whatever I do, it should come out as perfection. So I take hundreds of pictures, choose the best one, then post it online, wait for my customers to approach me. Then once queries come, I have interactions with them. Then I make it what to say, make them very comfortable, because sometimes we don't know each other. I have to build confidence with the customer. Once the order is through, they are willing to buy, they make the digital payment. It's all online. Then once that is over, I see that it is packed very well, everything is done by me. So I see that quality check is done, till then packing is done. It has to reach the customer's door intact, the product has to reach, so that all that is done by me. So, and I am also happy that whatever is done is appreciated, my work is appreciated, the way I chat with them also they like. So that my customers become my friends, and they come back to me again and again. Okay.
Yeah.
Then how I do it on online is just uploading pictures. It is not the end of the story. When we post pictures online, it may get drowned in millions of other pictures that is uploaded by others every day. So sometimes I promote my post,
Yeah.
so that it goes into the feed of others. So they come and visit my profile, and if they like it, I get followers as well as orders. So that is one method I follow. And many people may think, why should we spend? It is freely available. No, it is not like that. We have to spend, because anyway we don't have to spend for rent. I am not spending rent on shops. Why not spend, as it is the amount will be as rupees per day.
Yeah.
So with that, but the ad should run for 6 to 7 days to get results. Then only we'll get your followers as well as orders. That
Yeah,
is
I
how.
mean, Chitra, like that's a fair point. Like, we
Correct.
should know that
Very
we
true.
need to spend on advertising. Like, we
Yeah,
shouldn't
yes.
Correct.
And
Very true. I think
also,
that's a very good point that
one more
Chitra's brought out, because I
yeah,
think, yeah, no, go
one
ahead.
more
Sorry. I
point
think
I
that's a very
want to
good point.
add. One more point I want to add. It is not just posting pictures. We have to also use the right hashtags.
Oh, okay.
Tags are very important. Okay. And stories, we have to keep making stories. Posts have to be posting has to be regular. Then only customers are interested in us. They expect something from us, so that has to be done. This is how. And what happens is, many influencers approach me. They say we can collaborate. I have not tried that, because though I am not visible on my Instagram handle, I feel my designs speak for me. If required, I will use at a later date.
Maybe
My
that's an
take.
experiment for
That,
another day.
yeah, that is my take till now. It is working for me. Whatever I am doing, so that is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
how I work on. The thing is, we have to treat the customer like a king, because
Yeah.
without the customer, I am not there.
Exactly.
I can say I am a big designer, but what is the point if nobody is there to buy? So I
Yeah.
can't say I am a so for that, we have to be very humble, very polite, and we have to respect the customer a lot. When I interact with them, they don't know how old I am. So it is so much respect I give to the customer. So that changes the whole story, I believe.
Yeah. That's
That is
true.
how
Like,
all me, Tina, what I have.
Yeah, like Simran said, when you're doing online, like even with
Yeah.
5 words, like you need to convey everything. So
True.
yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to the next segment, which we call snippets. Um, a little overview of it. Now, entrepreneurship, it's a whole journey, and the entrepreneur is exposed to many challenges. Right? And if we overcome it, it's a new lesson learned. And some lessons are tough, but some leave very good memories behind. What I want you both to do here is to share some moments with us. Give our viewers a glimpse into what happens on a regular day in the respective businesses that you're a part of. So, Chitra, I'll ask you the first question. Can you just share a memory or learning that perhaps changed Chitra's jewel art story?
Yeah. See, when we start posting pictures, somebody must be there to support us. Though it starts with the relations buying our products, my friends went ahead and made a blog post on their they made blog posts about my products. They said Chitra's products are good, so you can buy from her. So more people came and they started looking at my page. So that was a positive development for me that helped. So that's what I said. Friends and followers have helped a lot, because initially very few people were there and we were all knowing each other. So that has helped. Then that was one. Then another point I want to share is when we are on posting pictures or internet, whatever we post, then it becomes public,
Yeah,
and it is we there is no control, and it gets copied very easily, and that is one negative aspect of posting pictures online. Though there is comfort and all, we start immediately it gets copied. And one time it happened was my pictures were lifted up by somebody, and she started a different page, and even the I was not aware of it. Yeah, somebody, and what they do is, I don't know, even I don't get, they are exclusive products. Even I don't find material to do it second time. Why it was done, I have no clue. And once it was taken, I went and I was shocked. Somebody came and told, do you have another page? So when I visited that page, I saw that about 15 designs of mine were in our page. So
yeah,
at that point of time, it's all this was around 8 to 9 years back. So at that time, I was very much shocked. I made lot of noise, and along with me, many of my followers also went and said, "No, no, this should not be allowed," and all that. But over a period of time, and then the one more interesting point was, one Rajasthani seller from Rajasthan sent my own designs to me and said, "You can start creating designs like this.
that's
You
so
have
funny.
material." I was
Hilarious.
not sure how I could react to such situations. It was I
Correct.
was very disappointed. I was upset. Everything. Then over a period of time, I got used to it. Now I think, okay, you copy, you do whatever you want. I can keep creating. So I have taken it in a positive way. That is how our shops are on internet. Any idea can be lifted by anybody. We can't go and ask anybody. That
Yeah,
is
it
my
comes.
story of Chitra's jewel art. That
Yeah.
snippets whatever you have asked.
No, I think like creating, I mean, seeing duplicate profiles, unfortunately it's become a norm. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see it.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, Simran, you've been on multiple talk shows. You've shared incidents, inspirations that keep you going towards the vision you started with. I mean, you touched
Yeah.
upon this a little bit. Can you go into a little bit more detail? Like, it'd be great if you can share those with us.
So I think I'll share one incident which has been, I mean, of course, there have been many, many in the last few years, but I think one which has really sort of brought me back into, being very aligned to my vision has been this incident which happened in 2017. So about 4 years back, for end of 2017, and my daughter was 4 months old, and we were just trying to get to a place for a distribution, and Facebook was actually was shooting the video. So they had reached out that they wanted to shoot a video for the distribution, and they had joined me, and this was in a rural a rural settlement, not a settlement, a rural government school in the outskirts of Bangalore. And we went there, and the person they had fixed for me to pick me up, was a cab driver. So I picked up my son from school because we are a nuclear family. My husband was working. I had nobody to leave the kids with. So wherever I would go, my kids have gone with for my distributions with me. So it was a healthy bakes distribution. So my husband was at work, and so I picked up my son from school. He was 4 years old, 4.5. My daughter was 4 months old. We went to that place, and that was about 2-3 hours from where we stay. Basically, 2-3 hours outside of Bangalore. Went there, did the distribution, shared the bakes, healthy bakes that we distribute on Children's Day with with many children. So we covered one school which had 200-300 children, and then multiple other schools which the NGO itself, Kritagita Trust was the NGO. They were doing it in multiple schools at the same time with and we covered around that year we covered 3,500 kids in that time. So when I did that, I was exhausted by the end of it because and I was feeding my daughter, and so I was very, very tired. And then after we finished the distribution, I packed up. I said, I'll go home now, and I sat in the cab, and we started driving back, the long drive back home. Somewhere midway, the driver stopped, and it was still evening, so it was around 5ish, and he stopped, and I was wondering maybe if he's tired, or because he's also been out with dropping me and taking me there and being waiting there till I did the distribution. And what he did was he went outside, he bought chai for himself, okay, and he bought chai for me. And he was these I don't know if you get these long mirchi bhajis,
Yeah.
so it was getting fried somewhere. He picked that up and he gave it to me, and I said, "Nahi, I'm fine. I'm all right." He said, you have gone, and he said it in Hindi, but he said that you have gone all the way there, to do this distribution with such small children. He's like, this is a very small thing I can share with you. I have never seen that happen with me. So, and he's unknown to me. I have never met him before that. I have never met him after that. But
Yeah.
it has stayed in my mind. It just made me realize that obviously he's sitting quietly there. He didn't need to do it. Okay, he would have it was not required for him to show any sort of. And he's so much he's probably much more tired than me, because he does that work he's doing. He must be driving God knows since what time. I'm just one of the people.
Yeah.
But it was just something that it just made me realize that there is you do some things, okay, and sometimes you do it and in your mind you're tired at the end of it. But when something like that happens, it makes you realize why you are doing it, and it makes you realize why you need to keep doing it over and over again. I think that is and ever since then, of course, there have been many incidents. I mean, one more was when Swabiman, which is one of the NGOs we work with in Bangalore, looks after 2 or 3 very large slums, across the largest slums actually across Bangalore. And I spoke to Venkat, who's the founder, and this was in the lockdown last year. And we baked and sent some stuff as a group of bakers. We've been doing it throughout last year. We're still doing it. And we sent him some stuff. And then one of the days, I just had a conversation with him. I said, Venkat, I'm sorry, we just end up sending some buns. That's, I'm sure by the time you distribute, it's just one whole wheat bun or one cupcake or something that has reached somebody. We are all home bakers. We don't have commercial ovens. We do it out of our homes with small, ovens, kitchens. But I mean, even if we do it together, so 40 of us can manage to bake 5,000, but that's, but the smallest size slum has a size of 5,000 kids. I said, so imagine how difficult it is sometimes to just think of the volume and not be able to meet that. So I was talking to him about that. And what he told me in return was that, Simran, I have to tell you something so that you don't feel this way, and I'm telling you something very honestly which will make you feel bad, but I'm also telling you this because you need to understand the value of what you're sending to me. He's like, there are
Yeah.
days when these people, because they're daily wage earners, they have all lost their jobs in the situation that has hit our country in the last year, in the first wave itself.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to eat. When you send that one bun or when you send that one muffin, that is the only single thing they eat in a day. I have, I'm not saying this for effect, but I've never cried so much. I just did not realize that, what, it's just like I said, while I'm saying this, I'm getting goosebumps because
I
there's
know.
just
I
no
can get
way to, explain that, the magnitude of work, or the
Yeah.
fact that there is something that, you think is small, okay, and you think this is not going to really have any impact, but when it goes out to somebody who values it so much, you realize that, this is why you need to continue doing this. So I think a couple of incidents like that have made me realize that, that, we're in the right direction. We don't have to worry about, whether we can do it for 10. Like I said, the numbers don't matter, in the long
Yeah.
scheme of things. The intent matters. The fact that we are able to do it persistently matters. Not that we do it as a one off. We do it persistently, without the fatigue setting in. That matters.
Yeah. Very heartwarming, Simran. So, okay. Um, okay, we'll move on to our next bit. We call it Gyan time. So, I know, like, y'all have shared plenty of Gyan.
Already so much gyan.
Yes, it is exactly. But yeah, we have a segment specifically for that, so we'll get into that. Chitra, every service or product that you offer, you, like we said, it's a result of your passion and determination, and you do
Yeah.
everything yourself. You have immense focus. Tell us three main things that our viewers would like to hear on starting, continuing, and keeping. I mean, and continuing to run a business.
Yeah. Like, see, like, what to say, like Simran said, this is an abundant opportunity, and it's in the world. We have to go and find out the opportunities ourselves. So, what we need first is we have to set a goal.
Yeah.
Setting a goal helps us to move in a certain direction. Without a goal, we don't know. We'll be like the top that is going around. So once the goal is set, we know where which direction to take. And do you want to online? Do you want to sell a product or a service? Now it is so easy to go online and start a business. And can you take a product which you are comfortable with? It is not because just somebody else is doing something I should start, which you would be comfortable with, which you can handle. So if you start that, it helps you to focus. It helps you. You should. It should be become a passion. If you love your work, half the work is done, because we'll be more enthusiastic to work towards it, and the focus helps us to move forward. So goal setting, the goal is very important, and staying focused. What is staying focused is we should do a lot of hard work. When we sleep, when we eat, when we drink, every time we have to think about this business, then only the ideas start coming.
Yeah.
uh, and we should be more working like ants, I think. They work with so much ingenuity, and they are so industrious. It is not that just we put the work, we have to move in the right direction. So it should be a passion. So when we upload pictures, it is not the end of the road. When we upload pictures, nobody is going to come to us. That is why I said we must go and make the right promotions or boost the post, because there are thousand sellers like me who are selling, and in what way can I be different from them? Bring them to my page, drive the traffic to my page, show them what I am. That is what
Yeah.
it should be. So staying focused is that goal setting is there, then focus, staying focused is there. Then the third one would be updating. We have to sharpen our saw, I say every time. That is a
Exactly.
carpenter, if you know, he won't be able to cut through the tree if he doesn't sharpen it regularly. Similarly, we have to update our knowledge. We
Yeah.
must know what is happening around, what are our competitors doing, can we use better technology, can we be using, can we bring more variety in our products. What is trending today is not the trend tomorrow.
Yeah.
So every time update, that is sharpen your skills and be there. So age
Yeah.
doesn't matter, I believe.
Exactly. Thanks for showing that, Chitra. That's great.
And apart from these three, the last point again I am stressing the customer. Without the customer, we are not there. Treat him or her like a king or a queen. That's all. If we have the inclination to do, inclination to work, then it is it. Hard work, there is no substitute for it. Have an idea, implement it, work on it. That's all. Simple.
Yeah, simple, exactly. Simple. So coming to the social awareness that you create on various projects, okay? What planning goes into each project, and what kind of marketing channel do you use?
So I think the planning essentially is primarily is the authenticity of the cause. Okay, so that is the part where there's the maximum level of planning, because I think everything else is going to center around it. So if I have a very credible cause, which I am sure has has the ability to draw people, then I need to be able to go forward. So the planning essentially involves a lot of research, which personal verification, checking through multiple channels. If I don't know about the cause, usually I never ever get involved in a social cause which I don't personally, which I have not personally verified or been inside. So if I've been involved with that particular, say, NGO or social cause or social venture in the last few years, and not I'm not talking about 6 8 months, last few years, that's when we align. That's when I'm very clear that I want to align myself and align the community around that. Okay, that's the first step. So the authenticity. The second is talking to people. So talking to people, whether it's bakers, whether it is whether it is people who are bakers, who are acquaintances, whether it is friends, whether it is unknown audience, using tech very well. So like Chitra mentioned, there is so much change that happens, and we can it's no longer about I want to personally ask somebody. No, nothing is really a personal. There are people who have contributed to our causes without knowing any of us personally. So the thing is that visibility of the cause is very important. And like I said, so I use every social media channel that I can. So like Chitra, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on trying out Clubhouse. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'm going to try that out
No,
for
go
sure.
ahead.
So I try out everything. That's
Yeah.
important. And let's see how that goes. And and the thing is that, and the thing is that the third part of the planning is what is going to be my role. Okay, now oftentimes people tell me that you are the founder, you so you can build it together. Yes, I am the founder of the community, but my bigger concern is that I need to be I the biggest the reason that community rallies around me is because my biggest strength is, not to say this for other reasons, but my biggest strength is my humility. I really don't think I know more than everybody else. I learn every single day, whether it is knowledge about healthy baking, whether it is about qualities from some of the bakers who I know as friends now, that I learn every single day. And the day I stop learning, that is the day the community members will stop being involved with me, frankly. So
Yeah.
I hold that association, that connection that I have with them very close to my heart. And that is what drives me to learn every day. And that is what drives me to understand that it's alone I can do some things, but when we do it collectively, you've seen the impact, right? I mean, could I have done this alone? I couldn't have ever. But that is the whole, that is the whole premise of, that is where the planning stage comes, that I make sure that every piece of information from a transparency point of view is shared with every baker who's involved. Even the bakers who are not involved know about it. So
Yeah.
that there is nothing that is gone away. So I think from a planning execution point of view, I think being in touch constantly with people we are doing that social impact work with, making sure that we get updates even from the NGOs that we work with,
Mm.
uh, making sure that information goes back to people who have donated, sent,
Contribution.
everything, yes, contributed, making sure that that whole cycle is always complete. It's never half done. So I think that
Exactly.
that helps. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so we'll quickly move on to the next bit. Let's watch this one. That's our next segment. So what we're going to do over here is play a short video of one of the small businesses that we've interacted with, and then we'll just weigh everyone's thoughts on it. Okay, Rebecca, can we have the video, please? Well, I'll give a little bit of background about this small business owner. I've interacted with her. So she used to run a very small beauty parlor, but and we know how salons were badly affected because of COVID lockdown, the safety issue, everything. Um, this business owner, her name is Meti, she took the opportunity to revamp her parlor during that time. She underwent a lot of courses. She expanded her space. Now she's got way more product offerings. I think she's doing quite well. So that's a little bit about the business owner. But what do you think about this mindset? Either one of you can. Simran, why don't you go first?
So I think it's phenomenal, because I think that is where, I think that is the biggest reason for any business to succeed, for any venture to succeed. There will be times like this that will happen, and the COVID situation is not something that's gone away. And if this goes away after 10 years, something else will happen. Even if it's not health related, something or the other will hit the markets. So,
Yeah.
the only reason a business is sustainable is when there is resilience. Okay, I need to be resilient if I need to run my business or my venture. Okay, that's one. And the second thing, which was very nice to see and heartening to see, is the fact that she evolved herself. So which is very important. That which is the shifting goalpost I refer to. I mean, I have never tried to box myself into, okay, I'm a blogger. So I mean, I blog. I do my workshops. I run the community. I also do social impact work. I'm an HR consultant. I am a mom. I mean, I'm just saying that, it's not like, we need to box ourselves into one particular thing. When the situation changes, we need to evolve and we need to change ourselves. That is the only other way that these two things I think are very important, which are standing out also when I see the video. Very
Yeah,
important.
true, true. Chitra, what about you? What do
Yeah,
you think?
I think she's very dynamic and positive. She has decided to share her ideas with others. Very,
Yeah,
very difficult,
Yep.
very difficult for people to share their ideas. She has done
yeah,
it. And when once you start sharing, what happens is you are helping others, and over a period of time, you will see that you will also get help in return. That is as
True.
simple as that. Yeah.
Very true.
exactly. Yeah. Maybe we have like just a minute to take an audience question. I think we have one, so one or two that's coming. Yeah, segment 5, ask me anything. How do you manage shipping of products to your customers? How do you build confidence in your customer? Chitra, I think that's a question that will be appropriate for you. How do
See,
you manage shipping?
yeah, yeah. Shipping is, for me, it is very easy because I am doing it for the last 12 years. Uh, the idea is to pack it in such a way that it reaches the customer as if he is buying from a shop personally. So when I pack it, it is so much care is given that there is proper packing material is used, and it is packed well in a box. Then it is handed over to the most trusted shipping agent who is doing giving me service. If it is international products, I rely on post office. So packing is very, very important. Even when we throw a package from second floor of a building, when it comes and lands, the product inside should be perfect. It should not break. That is the whole policy behind. Yeah, because when we hand it, see, we may handle it like a baby. When we
Yeah.
hand it over
True.
to the courier company, you will see that it is flying inside their
Well,
vans. So
Yeah.
that much
True.
care
Very true.
should be done. Yeah. So getting business and shipping is very essential, very important part of selling, because
yeah.
without, if the product reaches broken, you will have to replace it, because
Exactly.
it is your responsibilities to see that you have not packed it well, it has not reached properly. Otherwise somebody has to hammer it to break it. So
Yeah.
that is managing shipping is that is what I feel.
Okay. Okay. I
That
hope
is
that.
how I do. Yeah, that is how I do it.
Okay. Great. I hope that response was helpful. I think we've just about come to the end. Maybe Simran and Chitra, I'd just like to invite your closing thoughts before I close off. Chitra, anything that you want to share? Just any quick takeaways as an advice or anything.
Yeah, Simran can start, then I'll come.
Okay, I think Chitra is trying to think. Okay, Simran, go ahead.
I'm not sure, what advice to really give, but I think one of the things that small businesses, especially, run the risk of is of trying to emulate what bigger brands are doing, and in the process lose their own identity. And I would suggest that that is the biggest mistake, to do that. Your brand identity is who you are. Okay, so I think, the moment you lose your brand identity, you lose yourself. So or vice versa, the moment you lose yourself, your brand identity gets dissolved. So hold on to that. It's sometimes people will understand, your brand and the principles and the values. Sometimes people will not understand, and that's all right. You're not going to be able to cater to every market, every segment. But broadly, I think by and large, it's important to be unique. I think don't do anything which takes away that uniqueness.
Yeah. Chitra, what about you?
Yeah, anybody who wants to be on social media to sell their products, they are all welcome. And no, it's so easy.
Large
Yeah,
space.
true. It is. It is.
We have to, so many youngsters are there, and if coupled with their creativity, they can create wonders. I feel you don't spend even a single pie to start a business. With what you can even give your ideas. You can sell your ideas. You don't have to invest on a product. Anything is welcome. You can even sell peanuts from your home. So
True.
anything is,
Very
if
true.
anything can be done. How can I make peanuts in a 25 different varieties? So whatever your ideas are very important, and the inclination I said, and keep working on it, and success automatically comes to you. That is my if anybody wants to listen to me for that,
I'm
how
sure
online.
only listening to you, Chitra. So, anyway, it's been great speaking to both of you all, Simran and Chitra. So, like, very
My pleasure.
interesting listening to both your stories. We've finally come to the end of this extremely meaningful conversation and great insights. To all our viewers, please continue to visit us on our website www.restartindia.in to get an update of, and our social media pages to get an update of all the new projects also that we've undertaken. We've like gone all out with our on-ground projects as well. Maybe when we have more time, I'll detail it during another talk. But until then, thanks everyone for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us here.